Gong Dae-suk called Gong Jin-dan and Hong Aegyo with a serious expression. Hong Aegyo, Gong Jin-dan, listen to me carefully. Once Go Pil Sung enters the picture, your position will become very narrow. Quickly find Go Pil Sung's weaknesses and eliminate him. Gong Dae-suk returned to Korea from the United States and deeply involved herself in Gong Jin-tech's company management. Gong Dae-suk, who constantly interfered with Gong Jin-tech's decisions, gradually expanded her influence. She secretly sided with the villains Gong Jin-dan and Hong Aegyo, intentionally tormenting good people. One day, Gong Dae-suk secretly called Gong Jin-dan and Hong Aegyo for an important conversation. Gong Dae-suk spoke in a determined voice. "Jin-dan, there is a way. We have to deal with Go Pil Sung." At that moment, the door opened and Gong Jin-tech entered. Their conversation stopped abruptly and Gong Jin-tech looked at them with a puzzled expression. "What were you talking about?" Gong Dae-suk smiled naturally, hiding her momentary confusion. "It's nothing, Jin-tech. We were just talking about the company." Gong Jin-tech seemed suspicious but did not ask further. However, doubt began to grow in his heart. Why did his aunt side with them? Gong Jin-tech pondered deeply every night. Eventually, he reached a conclusion. Aunt must be hiding something. Otherwise, she wouldn't go this far. On the other hand, Gong Jin-tech gained a clear understanding of what he needed to do. Despite Gong Dae-suk's arguments, he decided to make a fair and righteous decision. He believed that appointing a capable and honest person as his successor was the best choice for the company. So he chose Go Pil Sung, who could protect his daughter Gong Mari. Gong Dae-suk ordered Gong Jin-dan and Hong Aegyo to find Go Pil Sung's weaknesses and spread them in the media. Gong Dae-suk wanted to completely align herself with the villains and drive out Go Pil Sung. Despite the constant attacks from Gong Jin-dan and Hong Aegyo, Go Pil Sung cleverly foiled their conspiracy with his excellent strategies and sharp judgment. However, he grew tired due to Gong Dae-suk's constant interference and realized that he needed a new person who could stand up against her. That's when a new hero appeared, Park Do-jun. Park Do-jun initially worked as Gong Mari's driver but gradually developed a closer relationship with her, eventually becoming her lover. He said to Gong Mari, "Are you ready to move forward with me? I will do anything to protect you." Gong Mari held his hand and replied, "Do-jun, I trust you. I feel safe with you by my side." Park Do-jun had originally studied in the United States but unfortunately could not complete his studies and returned to Korea. However, he was determined to live a just life based on his experiences in the United States. He was intelligent, diligent, and striving to take the right path. Gong Dae-suk and Park Do-jun both had the commonality of spending a certain period of time in the United States. Their paths crossed unexpectedly. While shuttling between the United States and Korea, Gong Dae-suk embezzled funds from Gong Jin-tech's company to create illegal funds. Gong Jin-tech, who was completely unaware of this, still trusted his aunt. However, thanks to Park Do-jun's experience in the United States, he was able to see through this embezzlement. Gong Mari decided to formally introduce Park Do-jun as her boyfriend to her family. One day at a gathering with her family, she said, "Father, I have someone to introduce. Do-jun is now not only my lover but also an important person in my life." Gong Jin-tech looked at Park Do-jun with a surprised expression. At first, he was shocked but then he smiled and said, "Yes, Do-jun, thank you for being a good person to marry. Please take care of our family in the future." Park Do-jun bowed his head and replied, "Thank you, Chairman. I will always strive to protect Mari." Park Do-jun stayed at Gong Mari's house and learned about the evil plan of Gong Dae-suk, Hong Aegyo, and Gong Jin-dan to drive out Go Pil Sung. He became even more determined when he heard that they were planning to eliminate Gong Mari as well. Park Do-jun decided to fight against them to protect Gong Mari. He gathered all his knowledge and experience to gather evidence to expose Gong Dae-suk's crimes. Eventually, Park Do-jun succeeded in collecting all the evidence perfectly. Now, the remaining task was to hand over the evidence to Gong Jin-tech and expose Gong Dae-suk's crimes. One day, he went to Gong Jin-tech and said, "Chairman, I have discovered something. If you look at this evidence, you will see Gong Dae-suk's true nature." Gong Jin-tech received the documents with a surprised expression. As Gong Jin-tech read the documents, his face grew darker and darker. He looked at Park Do-jun in disbelief and asked, "Is this really true? Did aunt commit such acts?" Park Do-jun nodded and replied, "Yes, Chairman. These pieces of evidence are all solid. We can no longer trust aunt." Gong Jin-tech let out a deep sigh and was shocked to learn that Gong Dae-suk, whom he had trusted all along, had betrayed his company. He trembled with a sense of betrayal and anger, but eventually made up his mind. Gong Jin-tech filed a lawsuit against Gong Dae-suk demanding astronomical compensation for her actions and sent her to prison. Gong Dae-suk was eventually exposed for all her crimes and was deported to the United States. She cried out in despair, "How did this happen? Jin-tech, you should have believed me." However, Gong Jin-tech responded coldly, "Aunt, I can no longer trust you. You must take responsibility for what you have done." Gong Jin-tech was finally able to break free from his aunt's shadow and protect his company and family. He felt deeply gratitude for Do-jun's courage and dedication.